This is episode 266 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Daniel Angel-Mejia. He's the managing partner at Apex Investments. He's also the head of the finance management team. He has 15 plus years of experience in real estate development and investing across a diverse asset class. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Jonathan, thank you so much. Thanks for having me and great to be here.
Yeah, great to talk to you. And I love to get people with international experience. But your real estate experience started in Colombia, right?
That's right. I used to work for a couple of investment funds down there. Actually, I guess my career started in the corporate banking space, investment banking, and then with one of my clients back then, ended up in the real estate world. They were like a construction company,
Yeah.
family owned, and they were starting their own fund, and that's where it all started. Yeah.
Was it one of those things where you're in a very secure career, it's doing well, but then the client, you're like, wow, what they're doing is pretty cool. This is how a lot of people fall into it. Is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened. We were financing a couple of their deals, and they were really being disruptive at the time in Colombia, since it's
Yeah.
a not so institutionalized environment. And it caught my attention. We were trying to work some things out, and ended up working with them.
Yeah. I mean, I've just heard similar things from people who are involved in the mortgage industry or ancillary to it. And they're like, or accountants. They're like, I see my clients doing all these cool things. And then I just figured I want to get in there. So that's cool that you got it. But when you were growing up, were you interested in real estate or did that really kind of pique the interest then?
I mean, to be quite honest, that's what piqued the real interest. I mean, pretty much everybody's somewhat into real estate growing up, but
Yeah.
in reality, like seeing, I guess what really caught my attention was the different kind of structures they were working on, and trying to make, kind of like actual finance, like institutional financing work, which was a new thing in Colombia then
Yeah.
for institutional groups, and that's where it really got some gears going.
What was the original target class for you when you started and geographically and you said single family, but where and why?
Totally. Yeah. So, and I'll kind of like rail back a little bit in because the why and location wise, was, it's been Atlanta and Georgia, or at least Metro Atlanta, since we
Yeah.
started. And the reason for that, it was just, it happened to be the city where I got to in the States, and transferred from, with a company from Colombia, got to Atlanta, then, corporate job. Um, but then when I started doing some investments on the side, I just didn't want to, uh, I guess, get too away from real estate, because it was a different job in a manufacturing company. It was actually a cement and ready mix company,
Mm-hmm.
based in Atlanta. Um, so I was like, well, this is kind of like derailing my career from real estate with like my real passion.
Yeah.
Let's just start doing like some investment on the side. That, you know, shortly but surely started getting some traction. So I started in the just fixing and flipping space. It was kind of like what I found, kind of like a good balance between not being 100% hands on, but still
Yeah.
getting some exposure and some experience. Learning about how the residential space worked here, and it was just like, let's try to get some reps done, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was in 2016. So did a couple, went well. Start, then I 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
getting some traction. At the end of that year, I met who's my business partner now. He was doing something very similar, but in South Florida.
Oh,
Didn't
okay.
really like that market to live. Like, he was doing well, but he wanted to move somewhere else in the States, also from Colombia, also from Medellin. We're like, hey, just come check it out, see what I'm doing here. He liked it. He moved. So in 2017 is when we really like started like pushing a little bit harder. Still within the single family space, we were still doing fix and flip. And then at that time, we started putting together some portfolios for rent. So we were buying distressed properties. We did
Yeah.
pretty good renovation. We're like, hey, if we can put some of these on work, that's how we started. So that's where the kind of like syndication LP GP structures started for us.
Yeah.
um, putting together some SFR portfolios, learning how to operate those in a like scattered scenario went well. Yeah, and that's how it all started.
And how do you guys handle property management? Are you vertically integrated or do you use an outside firm or kind of partnership model?
Right. So we use an outside firm up to this date. Moving forward, we're bringing it in house. It'll take a while.
Yeah, yeah,
We don't like to disrupt. Whatever's working, we'll leave it working. But then the new units that we add to the portfolio will probably be managed by us. We've added, I guess, like a um back, from home kind of operation. So we
yeah,
have part of our team sits in Medellin, Colombia,
yeah,
which helps a lot in terms of like having a larger team and more people, I guess like a better head count pretty efficiently at
yeah,
early stages, which usually firms our size are managed by 2 or 3 people here in the States and then a bunch of like third parties.
yeah.
We like to be more like vertically integrated. This is property management component is the only one that we're missing. The rest of it, everything's in house.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I've talked to so many people who get up and then go vertical integration, and what they've said to me, this is really for your future, and I'm sure you already know this, is that the property management isn't like a windfall for the business, but it's so much more operationally significant to bring it in-house that it actually saves you more in kind of ancillary things that you don't think about. So now you guys are going into multifamily away from single family, and you're looking for apartments now?
Actually, no.
Oh, am I backwards on that?
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no. We did for a minute, and we thought it was like exclusive. You either
Right.
in single family or
Yeah.
multifamily, and then down the road, it's like, well, nobody kicked us out of single family, and
Right.
you can keep some reps going, and there's a lot more transactionality,
Yeah.
which is also key for this kind of structure. So now we got back to single family. The only difference is we're not renovating; we're going ground up.
Yeah.
So the way we're thinking about it is like, okay, let's go back to single family. Let's start working more like on the development side, so ground up, and then start scattered site,
Yeah.
which we're doing right now, then smaller communities, and then larger communities, get ourselves into the BTR space,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then hop into the multifamily development train at some point. That's probably a few years down the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the train of thought.
Yeah, I like that. And when you say scattered, you just mean you're finding like, random one-off locations where you can either knock down or get land to build. And then as it goes on, you try to get in like a little six, cul-de-sac subdivision as you go. And then on BTR is great. I mean, I've had a few build to rent people on, and that's like it's honestly what we need. You know,
Yeah,
like I mean, everywhere needs more kind of really, nice projects that are built to rent.
yeah,
So you know that somebody doesn't have to qualify for a mortgage to get it. And
totally.
people can be more transient and get that really nice place for a year. And Atlanta actually is pretty transient. I mean, again, I lived in Florida for a long time, one of the most transient states, and the South is more transient. People move in, they move out. So BTR it sounds like it'll be a good setup for you. Are you finding for these single family scattered sites, are you finding that you have to buy knockdowns, or is there land available in the outskirts of Atlanta and around there?
There's land and actually the knockdowns for BTR is a little bit tough, like at least for the scatter site
Yeah.
approach, just because the demo and cleaning and all that
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
a little bit of that and inventory, whether it's distressed or partially knocked down, it's still pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So we're going more like the land approach and trying to find those that you can at least split in two or three or stuff like that, where you can like lower your bases a bit,
Yeah.
trying to stay between the 1,000 and 1,500 square feet, kind of like homes,
Yeah.
anywhere between a couple rooms to 4 rooms, depending on the tenant or the families
Yeah.
coming in. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're finding.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's strong housing stock for buyers and for renters because the price point, especially there, is not going to be too high. It's accessible for buy and then also for BTR. Because I've seen that a lot in Texas, just building smaller.
Mhm.
And then you look at it and they're kind of like almost micro homes, but it really works because you're finding, as you were saying, you're finding land, you're doing the diligence to make sure you can get approval for something smaller. It
Mhm.
just gives more people an opportunity to get into it where the rest of the country, it's just tough in a lot of areas.
Totally. Yeah, and then if you put together a scattered, you know, nice enough portfolio, you can still go at least semi-institutional on your
Yeah.
exit, or you can go one-on-one, one by one, and go retail. So we just try to keep our exit options open or as wide as possible on that BTR side. And then we're also building homes for sale, like that we design and
Yeah.
think about more like for sale, right? Off the bat. That's kind of like our single family approach right now.